Welcome to Blue Line Mental Health. I'm glad you're here. If you haven't already, please take a moment to click that like button and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our new content we share. Warning: this channel may contain material that is graphic and could potentially be a trigger for some. Viewer discretion is advised. Don't say I didn't warn you. Welcome to the Blue Line Mental Health Executive Command Staff Interview Series. I'm thrilled to bring you an in-depth conversation with Chief Heather WURTH of the Shorewood Police Department. Today, we will delve into the vital topic of law enforcement mental health amid the evolving demands from the community and political landscape. Chief WURTH will share her invaluable perspective on the impact of these changes on the stress and mental well-being of our officers. We'll explore how mental health support for law enforcement has transformed over the years, and most importantly, where it needs to go. This discussion is not just a message for law enforcement officers, but for the entire community, as we navigate together towards a more supportive and understanding future. Let's dive in.
It is about time that we're talking about mental health and policing, and it has been a very, very long time coming. Yeah, when I was in brand new 1992, I remember being told as a young officer, as a brand new officer, and especially as a female, to never cry, ever, to never admit that you needed to talk to somebody, that you were seeking counseling. And God forbid you should ever admit that you were on antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication. I mean, you would have been absolutely shunned if you'd ever admitted that out loud to anybody. Um, and yeah, I remember being told that distinctly. Don't ever talk about that because that's not what we do. That's not who we are. Um, and I think that there was a lot of fear too that if you ever admitted that you needed help, that, well, she's crazy, or, and I hate to use that word, but I mean, that's what we said. And, that maybe you were unstable, or there would be a concern about whether or not you should carry a gun, and especially as a woman, being overly emotional. But we have definitely come a very long way, and we have a very long way to go yet. But we're finally starting to talk about it. Mental health came about 50 years ago. I mean, when we talk about uh, shell shock and post-traumatic stress, especially with our veterans, and why it took so long for that to be recognized in law enforcement, I don't know. I certainly there's a stigma attached to mental health concerns in law enforcement, and I think it also comes down to the ability of whether or not you're unstable or able to possess a firearm, or whether or not you're suited to be in law enforcement. But it's we're normalizing having conversations about the cumulative effects of stress and the traumas that we face every day. And I think that that's a very, very good thing. And that really goes back to what I was talking about when I said that we're all human. And I don't know what the statistic is, but we will see, I think it's something like over 500 traumatic events in our careers. And the normal person will see maybe one or two in their lifetime. And we'll see over 500 in our careers. Now think about that, and what that does to a person, and how that impacts your psyche and your confidence, and your ability to cope. And um, I mean, there are some things that will live with us forever, just like individuals who have seen traumatic events, whether they've been a victim of crime or those types of things. They'll live with those things forever. And ours is just amplified. So for us to be able to talk about it, for us to develop peer support programs, for us to normalize debriefings and mental health wellness checks, which my agency does every year. It's mandated. I think it's so critical. And, not only that, but I think it's important for our officers to know that we actually care about them, that we care about their mental health and all encompassing their physical well-being, their mental well-being, their spiritual well-being, whatever helps them to be a more well-rounded and healthy individual is really important. Yeah, and this really goes down to what I just said, talking about it. In Shorewood, we mandate wellness checks one time a year, but we also fund additional sessions for the officers that may need it. So funding is really important because that care doesn't come for free, right? And so I think that there may be less of a agreement to seek assistance if officers had to use their insurance. I know that, and this goes back to the stigma, right? If I'm using my insurance to support mental health treatment, is somebody going to find out about that? Is my record's going to be disclosed for whatever reason? And if we're making every single officer do mental health wellness checks and providing them opportunities for counseling within that vein, it like I said, it creates this normalcy for, well, it's not just me, it's them too, right? So it makes it easy to go in and talk to somebody if you need help. But we talk about it pretty regularly, and we talk about it from the aspects of not just saying I need help, but what are some of the things that I can do to help myself? Like, how can I look after myself to, work out or be fit or eat right or get enough sleep or not drink too much or stay off my phone and, not scroll social media until the wee hours in the morning or those kinds of things. So, having those conversations. So it isn't just about the need for counseling or saying I'm struggling, but implementing those small things that we can do every single day. Self-care, talking about that, about providing opportunities for self-care, about downtime. Certainly those are things that I'd like to employ in my agency. Budget, of course, I mean, that's a struggle, as I mentioned. So being able to fund that is important, but we really just need to get to the point where like I said, we're talking about it and having those conversations. So.
Please like, subscribe, and share to spread awareness and make a difference, one step at a time.